My name is Lucas, and together with my teammate Danilo, I am maintaining the Netplan project. Not too long ago, we released the version 1.0 of Netplan, which was a major step forward. So what's new? Targeting the Ubuntu 24.04 LTS cycle, we had a primary focus on stability, but also on cleanup of technical debt. And we actually tried to keep it relatively light on features. Networking is a huge problem space, though, so we still added some new functionality. For stability, we did a major overhaul of our documentation, improving the structure, the wording, the visuals. Furthermore, we refined the integration with Network Manager on Ubuntu desktop systems. That got actually enabled in the previous release of Ubuntu, but it's now also the default for the LTS. So whenever you change some networking setting through the Network Manager UI on your desktop, it will be stored as a Netplan configuration on disk and can be queried as such. Introducing the major version bump from libnetplan 0 to libnetplan 1, indicating a breaking change, we were able to drop some technical debt, some legacy code base and legacy ABI that we had been dragging along over the years, and that should allow us to move faster going forward, as we don't have to care about that old code anymore. On the features, we worked with the OpenStack team on a special link aggregation mode for SR-IOV high-performance networking scenarios that will be used in the OpenStack clouds. And we also implemented some quality of life improvements for the Netplan status command, but more on that in a bit. Here you can see a side-by-side comparison of the old docs for Netplan, which were pretty plain and more or less just a reference of the Netplan YAML settings, whereas the new docs on the other side have much improved visuals, structure, wording, and we also added a proper diataxis tutorial. Shout out to Robert, our technical writer, for helping with that. This is a screenshot of the Netplan status diff command that I mentioned earlier. The new part is actually the diff parameter, which for any given network interface can show you the differences between the current system state and the Netplan configuration that is supposed to be applied on the system. We worked with the UX team on that to create a clear and crisp text-based user interface to display all the information. As you can see, it shows the usual Netplan status data like IP addresses or routes, but kind of grayed out in the background while highlighting the things that got added or removed from the state, which are not on the configuration or are different in the Netplan configuration, highlighted in red and green correspondingly. But we didn't just focus on technical details for this new release, but also on project growth and building a community around it. I think we had a pretty successful launch for Netplan 1.0, starting with a blog post on the Ubuntu blog, which got picked up by bigger news outlets like Phoronix or 9to5Linux. From there, it started spreading around the world on many blogs and in many different languages. To further increase public awareness of Netplan, we run a more or less regular thread on the Ubuntu discourse to keep the Ubuntu community posted about all things Netplan, like showing conference talks that we attended, announcing point releases and major things added to Netplan. We also published a couple of blog posts on the Planet Debian and attended international conferences to talk about Netplan. All those efforts have turned out to be rather successful, as can be seen on this chart. Starting in 2023, towards the right side of the chart, and going into 2024, we see a nice bump to the upside, according to GitHub stars on our upstream repository, that indicates an increased interest in the project. Furthermore, we got some nice or recent contributions from bigger players like Microsoft and Deutsche Telekom in the upstream project, which is another indication of increased interest. And yeah, I think that's all. Thank you very much.